Hey Ryan, I wanted to follow up on what you said on the radio show about the binders. And you said after the second games, I assume that was some direct response to the loss to Oregon. Was there something about the way that game plan did or didn't get absorbed that made you guys want to change how you were processing that information week to week? And how does that work?
No, it was just something that, I wanted to streamline. I don't know if it was after two or three. It just felt like, um, you know, after, last year and just the last couple of years, we've done a lot of stuff on the iPads, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do to kind of rebite on, how we were going through our game plans and how guys were studying. Just felt like it was the right thing to do. It also helps the coaches, I think, because, when you actually have to write it down on paper, do it, organize it, you just understand it all better. And I think it's a good process and something we've done in the past before. And so, everything we do now is so easy because you just kind of put it on an iPad and, you can find it. But there's something about writing something down on a piece of paper and handing it and holding it that I think is different. So it's something that we just wanted to do and we're going to continue to do.
We'll go next to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan.
Ryan, I know you had talked the weeks, leading up to the last couple games that you felt like the team was really practicing better, really, focused well. Do you feel like coming off the bye week that you've seen that same kind of attention to detail from the team?
I do. Yeah. I thought we had a good week of practice, good energy this week, but now we got to go put it on the field. So we'll see, and that's what matters, is playing Saturday night and playing well, starting fast against a good Indiana team and going on the road and get another conference win. So I do feel that way. But we'll see, because like we say, we prepare, we compete, and then we learn. And now it's time to go compete again Saturday night.
Alrighty, next up, let's go to Jacob Benji from the Lantern. Jacob.
Hey, Ryan, we talked with Tyreke yesterday, and he mentioned how he wouldn't say that there was a panic, but there was a sense of urgency within the linebackers room just to get the new defense down, to help the defense be the best it can be. How have you seen the linebackers, whether it's Tyreke, Tommy, Cody, et cetera, just, kind of steady themselves over the course of the season, since they didn't have as much experience coming into the year?
Yeah, well, I think that now they have some experience, and that really matters, because when you come in, there's so many things that come into play. You're just not sure of a lot of things, and you're not sure yourself. But now, that they do have some of these snaps under their belt, like you said, they're kind of steadying themselves. But they got a bigger challenge ahead of them. We got some really good offenses we're about to play, and some really good teams, in the second half of the season. And, so it's going to have to start again Saturday night. And again, every time they play, I feel like they're getting a step better.
Alrighty, next we'll go to Tim May, Letterman Row. Tim?
Yeah, Ryan, what is the wildest blitz you've ever seen? And number two is, you prepare a team to go against a team that does blitz a lot and kind of can come from all angles. Can you over prepare? How much of it is preparation? How much of it is just reacting to what's coming?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's all in moderation. You can't go over the top with it, because then you get yourself out of whack. In terms of craziness on blitzes, typically they can bring 4, they can bring 5, or they can bring 6. They really can't bring much more than that, unless, you bring more guys into protection. So they either put a safety in the middle of the field and bring 5, or they'll take a safety out of the field, play 0 and bring 6. Sometimes they'll bring simulated pressures, which means they can bring certain guys, but then drop other guys out. Yeah. And that's typically, how it's done. And these guys are very aggressive, and they're very good at it. And, when you're dealing with teams like this, sometimes it can be high risk, high reward. And you just have to make sure that you cut your losses when they do, get home with a blitz.
Thank you.
Yep.
All righty, next we'll go to Jared Smalley, WCMH. Jared?
Hi, Ryan. Talking to some players after practice last night, and they mentioned it specifically, that last year's game stuck with them and bothered them. And I'm wondering how the game last year with Indiana stuck with you. Did it stick with you? Did it bother you? What was gleaned from that night?
We just didn't do a very good job of finishing the game. We went up big early on in the game, and, a defense that's designed to stop explosive plays, and we gave up too many explosive plays, let them back into the game, and didn't execute down the stretch on offense. That's really what happened. So we just got to play like we did in that first half, and continue to play a full 60 minutes. We've really never been in a game with Indiana we didn't have to play for 4 quarters. And so we're going to have to do that again on Saturday night. This is a very good team, and they've played against, some really good teams. All the 4 of their losses against top 25 teams, and I think maybe when they played them, they were top 10 teams. So they played some really good teams, and they're a good team as well. So, we're going to have to be really on our game.
All righty, well, let's go to Bill Rabinowitz. Bill, go ahead.
Hi, Ryan. Obviously, you've gotten a lot of contributions from your true freshmen. You mentioned that you have more of the kind of lying in the weeds. Who are some of those guys that you're expecting? What kind of impact do you think they can make the second half of the year?
It just depends on situations with injuries and what comes up in games. There's a bunch of guys who I think have been practicing very, very well. You saw what Emeka did last week, and Marvin Harrison's been practicing at a high level. We've seen Evan Pryor do some things. Seen Jordan Hancock get better week in and week out. So where do these guys get an opportunity? You don't know, but we see some of these younger guys working hard to have a chance. Mike Hall's been really practicing well. So maybe they're going to start getting some more reps based on the situation. A lot of things can happen in these last 6 games, but I see a bunch of guys who are getting better because they're practicing better.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Austin Ward, Letterman Row. Austin.
Ryan, that first half of the season obviously didn't go the way Tyreke Smith would have wanted, and injuries big part of that. I assume he's getting close to return. How has he handled that process? I know it can be frustrating, and what could he give you down the stretch here?
Yeah, a veteran player who has a lot of ability, and I know this is going to be a big stretch for him. He's had a good week of practice, and looking forward to seeing him out there. But this is important for him. I know he wants to finish his career the right way and play really well for us, and produce at a high level. And he's highly motivated and always has been. So it's good to get him back on the field.
Already next up, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, back in August, you had mentioned that the team's vaccination rate for COVID was over 90%. And the university put in a mandate. The deadline for the first dose was last week. Has that percentage moved at all since you last updated us on that?
Yeah. We've got everybody on our team, vaccinated. I think there's maybe a player or two who's looked to get an exemption, but other than that, everybody else is vaccinated. And we're a very, very high percentage.
All right, we'll go next to Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Ryan, you talk about how important the bye week was or the off week was for a lot of different reasons, but how important was it to get a full week with no opponent to prepare for, to actually put the defense and install some of the defense in, not since you guys changed it on the fly a little bit? How important was it to have that time to just be able to go in and actually install some things after you guys switched everything up?
Well, we haven't switched everything up. We have changed some things for sure. And it just allows us to kind of repaint the bridge on a lot of those things that, like you said, maybe you put something in week 3, week 4 that was new. And you only have a few days to kind of get that ready for Saturday. A bye weeks gives you an opportunity to get in there and just kind of dig into the details of those things so that you have them ready for the second half of the year and you understand them a little better. But then also look at some other things and possibly changing things up on either side of the ball, because you're going to need those change ups, certainly in this game and a bunch of the games coming down the tube here.
All righty, Clay, we'll give you another shot there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
Live.
Fantastic. Ryan, the ritual of the bed check seems like it's endured for 100 years. I heard you talking about it. Is that a place where you get a good read on your team? And how many times have you walked in a room and you're missing a guy?
I don't think I've ever been in a room where we're missing a guy. Quentin Temple, Brian Voltolini, CJ Barnett. I think they go through and do a little sweep before, make sure everybody's there when I walk in, so we don't have that type of problem. But it's one of my favorite things to do, to go through the night before the game, look the guys in the eye, and give them a little something, and obviously wish them a good night's sleep and get some rest, because tomorrow's the day we go do what we love to do. And when we're on the road or at home, it's something I enjoy.
That personal touch means something.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to ask the players that, but I just think it's important as the leader to look the guys in the eye the night before the game and make sure they're getting a good night's sleep.